Hello everyone, welcome to Res Snapper. My name's MJ and this is Snap or Pass, where we look at the brand new cards coming to the game, and this week we have got a Series 4 release in Chameleon. He's a 3/3. On reveal, copy the text of another card here you revealed this turn. In this video, we're going to talk about how Chameleon is a tricky card to play, and whilst he might have a lot of synergies, ultimately, you might not have room for this card. We're actually going to talk about decks, counters, and maybe some fun anecdotes along the way. You can skip to the chapter you want using the section. Yeah, using them. Go for it, whatever. We're just going to crack on, shall we? Right. But, right, here's the Series 4 card. So you can pick them up in either Season or Series 4 packs for 2,500 tokens. You will, however, have the option of opening the other cards from the last several seasons. So this covers the current season, Arachnid Anarchy, the previous season, Undead Horde, and also the season before that, Visions of the Future. Right. Let's talk about this card, because that's what we do on this channel. Actually, well, let's talk about the character, right? And this guy is Chameleon, okay? He is the original big dog. He is the first Spider-Man villain, sort of. Anyway, I don't know who was in Amazing Fantasy number 15, was it? The first appearance of Spider-Man. However, Chameleon is the villain in issue 1 of The Amazing Spider-Man, and he is, of course, in the Marvel Encyclopedia. So, Dmitry Smeldyakov grew up in Russia as the half-brother of the half-brother and servant of Sergei Kravenov. Yes, this is Kraven's half-brother. He eventually became the mercenary spy operative known as the Chameleon, who was renowned as a master of disguise. Originally, he relied on makeup and his acting skills, but now he uses a special serum and clothing to impersonate others. He first clashed with Spider-Man when he was trying to steal plans for a missile defense system. Yeah, and then hilarity ensues. Very old character, very classic character, and I love his classic costume. In fact, that's the reason why on my card here I've got like a sort of bluish purple card border. It's homage to his classic animated series style look, and the action figure that I love. So I think the decks that Chameleon is going to fit into, or that strike me first, yeah, there's a smorgasbord here. I think that Chameleon, I know I could list more. I could genuinely list way more. I think Chameleon is going to work very well with a lot of different styles of decks. The difficulty with him is that restriction of his power. Revealing on the same turn means that, generally speaking, unless you're doing energy manipulation or cost manipulation, you can only play Chameleon realistically alongside other 3-cost cards. But if you're doing that, it's a final turn play, so you have to think about the surprise duplication element of that. Or you're using him alongside 1 or 2 costed cards on earlier turns, be it turn 4, turn 5. So that makes him very challenging and interesting and difficult. However, there are opportunities there, of course, because Cerebro would be a fantastic one for him. So Cerebro 3, you reveal him on the final turn with Cerebro, or with Mystique. Maybe you did Cerebro on turn 5, and then you can Mystique Chameleon on the final turn. That's obviously incredibly strong because you are triple dipping on Cerebro, which in a Cerebro 3 deck, I mean, you just use your tech cards like Luke Cage. I know Luke Cage is too bad, but you use your tech cards to make sure that you don't get afflicted or anything like that. You change your location with Scarlet Witch. As long as you got those few cards down, your Cerebro cards are getting +9. So Chameleon is a 12 power play. You barely need any other cards, so if you can manage to pull off that combo, that's going to be really good. Silver Surfer, of course, a very obvious card for him. Especially if you've got let's say a Silver Surfer first steps at a location. Let's say you've got Shore and Silver Surfer first steps at one location. You've got Brood or whatever else in another. Your final turn could be Silver Surfer and Chameleon on the Shore location. That shoots up to something like, oh god, I don't know, 25, 26, something like that, something massive. And then as long as you're winning at that location, it's going to trigger all over again. So yeah, feels like it's going to be really good with Surfer. I actually think Patriot could be a really cool one, because Patriot again can do the Mystique trick, can do the Patriot trick, but can also do things like Debris. If you want extra rocks, the new Debris. That was probably a really bad. That was actually probably a really bad suggestion. But anyway, and yeah, that's a final turn play as well, actually. Anyway, it's still going to work in Patriot, alright? Because there's other things you might want to copy, like maybe Dazzler, right? Dazzler, I don't know. I was about to say Victoria Hand, but we're moving on to that. I might as well say that now, actually. I think he's going to work with Victoria Hand. The interesting thing with Victoria Hand and Shield is that there are ways that you can discount Chameleon. If you can copy him, maybe you play him on turn 4 with a 1-cost card, maybe a Hood, and then you like Bastion them. You've now got a cheap one. You can do like a final turn, which is like Victoria Hand, Chameleon, and another 2 or whatever. That could be cool. Combo decks. He is like a combo-based card, so some sort of crazy combo-based combo could be nice for him. Mill decks might like him because they've got some cheaper cards that might be quite disruptive. So like a later game Cable, like a Cable on turn 5, or like a Yondu on turn 4 alongside Chameleon. Double banish. Deck disruption deck. So Korg might like this card. The Hammers deck could be another really interesting one because you're worried less so about cost, aren't you? So that deck already has a lot of ways to duplicate the Hammers. So it could be like Misery and Odin. Well, Chameleon could be another way, especially if you could just do that on turn 4 quite easily, like a Mjolnir and Chameleon. That allows you to do a later turn Misery, which could be nice. Anyway, Horde decks might also like Chameleon because they have got pretty potent Horde cards, like a turn 5 Zombie Mr. Fantastic and Chameleon. Could be fantastic because Chameleon is then copying not only the on-reveal of Zombie Mr. Fantastic, but he's copying the whole text here, guys. So he's going to get the activate as well. I mean, actually, someone who copies his on-reveal would do that as well, but it's still worth pointing out here that Chameleon copies their whole text. That's why I think he'll also work in ongoing decks. Cheap ongoing cards can be powerful. Things like Ant-Man. An Ant-Man Chameleon on turn 4 is really strong. You know, really, really strong. So, and then shield decks. Now, shield decks could be an interesting one because we'll get onto this in the cons section, but because you need to hold Chameleon in your hand, that might be a little bit frustrating. And then we'll come on to this in a minute, but I think shield decks might actually be quite good with Chameleon as well. Yes, I know, I say shield's good with every new card, but because you're having to hold on to Chameleon, it's basically a resource that you're holding on to for a long time that you're not using. So using shield cards to generate other options to play might actually be alright. Okay, so he's similar to Mystique, but almost more so Prodigy, because he can copy the text of any card theoretically. Now, he can't copy 6 cost and 5 cost cards easily, but all the other costs are, you know, doable with magic or whatever. But anyway, the point of this is he can copy the whole text, not just the on-reveal or ongoing or whatever. He can be anything. And for the ability to work, it has to be played alongside another card. So the pros. It's a cheap way to get a duplicated ability and another strong option for decks with powerful main cards like Cerebro and Victoria Hand. That is where he's going to be best, I think. And it might be an unpredictable play in a lot of decks. Your opponent isn't necessarily predicting a Chameleon on the final turn in a lot of random decks, okay? So, actually, here's an interesting one. How's he going to work with Invisible Woman? That could be interesting. So that maybe does actually open up opportunities for, like, 5 cost cards, not 6 cost cards, because you do still have to play Chameleon after your big cost card, because the Chameleon is going to check to see other revealed cards. Anyway, so that's the thing. What was I going to say as well? Oh yeah, right, how about this, guys? Literally, this could be stupid, right? This could be so bad, but what about Rhino and then Yellow Jacket Chameleon? Because that rock is now minus... Oh, actually, hang on. Oh, you don't need Chameleon to do that. I was going to say, like, Rhino and then Yellow Jacket and then Viper. Oh, you could just do that anyway. Why don't people do that? Is that bad? Because it's a 3-card combo on turn 3. Anyway, I don't know. Well, 3-card combo that you need to have drawn all components of by turn 3. Yeah, sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. Alright, cons. Because you can't play him on turn 3 to good effect, you need to hold him in your hand until you can make good use of him. So yeah, whilst he's a 3-cost card, he's sort of not, because you can only play him in later turns. So he's kind of like a 4, 5 or 6 cost card. So Yeah, interesting. And he can only access the abilities of cards up to 3 cost, unless there is energy manipulation or tricky dicky antics like Hulkbuster. Yeah, Hulkbuster is another interesting one. You could play potentially like a 4 or 5 cost card, play Hulkbuster, and then play Chameleon, and you can double dip on those abilities. Now, that could actually be really good if you're doing something like a White Tiger on turn 5. Your turn 6 could be Hulkbuster, Chameleon, and you've still got one other. You've still got cost of 1 to play. This is just awful, isn't it? You can still play a 1 cost card on top of that. Now, the thing is, guys, that's like 6. The Hulkbuster and the Chameleon is 6 power. You might as well just play Odin by this point, right? But maybe it gives the deck, that combo, some extra redundancy. I don't know. So let's talk about the counters though. So Cosmo can stop him from revealing, which could be pretty great. Sorry, not going to stop him from revealing. Certainly stop his on reveal from triggering though. And Sandman can literally bring him up to 4 cost, and that means your 3/3 final turn has now become something you can only do with a 1 cost. So yeah, it basically ruins it. However, Synergies, Hood could be an interesting one, right? This is a turn 4 play, your Hood and Chameleon. You go neutral on that location, you've added 0 power, but you have generated 2 Hoods. That could be alright. Outside of what we've spoken, I think it's just mainly just decks, right? But I think both Silver Surfer and Silver Surfer First Steps could be interesting ones as well. If you have a really powerful on-reveal effect on 5, maybe it is that White Tiger. You could Chameleon and Silver Surfer First Steps on that White Tiger location. Now you do need to be winning it, so maybe you need a really big power play there on the previous turn, so maybe like a Laufey on turn 4, and then you follow up with this little combo. But that could be really good. Actually, you'd want, if you're playing Laufey there, you don't really want a Laufey with the Silver Surfer, because you could get triple Laufey. You need a non-on-reveal card. How about, hang on, Anti-Venom. Anti-Venom could be good with Chameleon. What about an on-reveal Anti-Venom deck? Shit, I should have put Anti-Venom in the Synergies. Interesting. That's just made me think of all that. That's just made me think of that as a good synergy in this video. Interesting. To be honest, guys, that's just like another reason why the ongoing deck might be really good. Ongoing with Anti-Venom and Chameleon could be a really sick thing to try. Right, anyway, so decks. I've only got 2. None of them are ongoing, on-reveal, Anti-Venom stuff. I wish they were now, but the first one is called The Man in the Silver Mask. That is because Silver Surfer has kind of got like a bald head with like a silver face. Well, Chameleon kind of looks like Silver Surfer, and they have synergy together. In fact, they're probably the biggest synergizing cards for Chameleon. So, right, anyway, The Man in Silver Mask. We've got no 1-cost cards in this deck, guys. In fact, we've got Killmonger, because we're going to kill our opponent's 1-cost cards. We got Forge for the Brood action. This is a budget deck, so we got in fact, the only Series 5 card we've got in here is Silver Surfer First Steps. And then, so it's just got a bit of tech mixed in here with like Luke Cage and Mobius. We have got Rogue, who's again flexible, swap them out for if you're a lower collection level player, but you do have a powerful Series 5 card for Surfer, like Shaw or Captain Carter. Those would both be really fantastic in here, and actually really powerful and potent swap-ins, so you should do that. But you got Sarah, so you can play 3 cards on the final turn, which is Chameleon, Silver Surfer, and it could be like your Silver Surfer First Steps, you get absolutely bonkers. Or actually, to be honest, those are the things you want to play. Or you do Brood, Surfer, Chameleon on the final turn. Good stuff. And then my final deck for you is called Talk to the Hand. So Talk to the Hand, because the face is like lying to you, because it's not the same. It's not the person that you think it is, right? So this is a Victoria Hand deck. We have got Hood, who can be a good Chameleon card. We've got Iron Patriot. Actually, Iron Patriot, kind of not the worst Chameleon card if you've got a Quinjet out. We got Frigga to copy either. You could, in fact, this could be cool. How about I was going to say Hood and Chameleon on 4. Frigga the Chameleon on 5. No, it doesn't work, does it? But anyway, how about Quinjet and Chameleon on 4, Coulson on 5, and then you can play both the cards that Coulson generated. and Maria Hill. Yeah, I like that. Actually, you can Coulson and Iron Patriot on turn 5 after doing Quinjet Chameleon. Oh my god, am I going to Quinjet Chameleon all the time? Anyway, really what you want to do with this deck, really, is Victoria Hand on the final turn. Although I am starting to put Silver Surfer First Steps in a lot more decks, as you can see. So maybe that might be cool. I mean, she's really good with Iron Patriot, actually. So, yes, this is all good stuff, guys. You should definitely do this. Anyway, star ratings. I do actually think overall he's a 3-star card. I think that he can do so much. I think he's so powerful in certain decks like Cerebro and Surfer and Victoria Hand. He can be so good, but he's incredibly restrictive with what he can do and might feel frustrating. And it's not only the fact that you can only play him alongside another card, it's the fact that you've got to hold on to him for so long as well, and you might just need to play out resource. So yeah, that might be the frustrating angle to him. From a fun perspective, I think he's 3 stars. I think that frustration factor does take away from his fun. For the archetype, 3 stars. I mean, maybe he should be like a 5-star for sort of Surfer and Cerebro, what he brings to those decks. I mean, although Cerebro is really Cerebro 3 very specifically. And from a competitive standpoint, 3 stars. I think you'll see him, but maybe not. I don't think he'll be poisonous or anything. Could be famous last words. But for that reason, because he's not mind-blowing, I am going to say he's a pass. Now, if you're looking forward to it, I do think he's a good card. I just think he's very frustrating and difficult card. So I'm not saying don't get him. I'm just saying be cautious, essentially. If you got this far in the video, please leave a watermelon in the comments below. Why have I just started laughing? I haven't even got anything to say. I literally, this is the end of the video. I've got nothing to say. I just started laughing randomly. Now I'm spitting everywhere. I don't know if you saw that. Oh, mate. I'm tired already. It's like 8 AM and I'm tired already. Start work in 40 minutes. Gonna be a long day, innit? Right, anyway, I better edit these videos. Thanks very much for watching, everyone. I'll see you next time. Cheers.